now that the Cleveland's running again, well, at least on a bottle feeder, I need to change this fuel pump out. So to make that easier, I need to remove the power steering brackets to get to it. Since I'm taking all the power steering brackets off, well, I might as well take all the brackets off of it and get everything cleaned up. So instead of moving this project forward, we kind of went backwards. So I decided I want to paint all around here. You know, it's not much to take it all off. So I decided, you know what, screw it. So I'm going to kind of clean this cowl up a little bit. And there's all kinds of crap packed in there, leaves and whatnot. I don't see any evidence of mice, but I guess there could have been. It doesn't look like a nest. I think it's just buildup from trees. But so I got it all stripped off. And it's like, well, I had to take the brackets off to get to the fuel pump and whatnot, so I might as well do it. I'm going to paint all the brackets and the pulleys and everything black too, clean it all up. So might as well. Starting to fall in love with this old girl a little bit. It's all right. Everything's clean, ready for paint. Cleaned up nice. Got everything out of the way. I had to wash the cowl out. I had a lot of stuff in there, and the bottom of the fenders were clogged, so I washed all that stuff out of there and cleaned it all up. And I went this morning at the hardware store and I bought some paint, and I started painting over there, and then both cans clogged up on me, so I had to go return them and get other ones. So grab these new cans and hopefully they work and I can finish up. Got it. Looks pretty good. For quick and dirty shake and shoot. Didn't quite get the master cylinder. This area over here is kind of hard to get into, but it's good enough. But it looks way better. This was just all rusted over here, so it looks much better, and the cowl was really bad. Of course, it's really hot. It's like 108 degrees out right now, and the paint's just like drying as soon as it hits, so. But it looks good. It's all covered up anyway and cleaned up, so I'm happy with it. So I got to get kind of underneath in the cross member there, and I'll get all that stuff later though. So, I mean, this is dang near already dry already. It's so hot out, but I'll let it sit for a little bit. And then the brackets, I think, what I'm going to do is, some of them have a lot of buildup on them. This one's got a lot of heavy grease buildup on it. I might just take these to work, scrape them and wire wheel them and put them in the tank and clean them up, and then paint them at work. So get all those cleaned up. But anyway, there's that. Looks good. I'm happy with that. That'll help the looks of it. Of course, at this point, I might as well just pull the motor out and paint it too, but I don't want to get into all that. So it's good enough. So I don't want to just turn into any more of a can of worms than it already is. So cool. Well, probably next couple days here, I'm going to work on this thing, just getting everything cleaned up and put back together again. All right, just been tinkering with all the small stuff. It's just taking a lot of time. It's very time consuming. I got everything pretty much back together, got the canisters back in. I got new cables to run to the starter and to the battery. Battery tray, I just ended up getting one of these Dorman universal trays from O'Reilly, and it worked out perfectly. I had to drill one hole, and I need to make some sort of support underneath of it because it does just flex a little bit, because the original one had a support underneath. So I'll just make something up for that real quick. That worked out really well. I got the plug wires just kind of tidied up, some of the wiring here. Just put some split loom on stuff and got stuff zip tied. That vacuum tree that was in the back, I don't think I'm going to need that anymore, because now really all I have to power vacuum wise is that canister. and then which also in turn sends vacuum to the inside for the dash components and whatnot. So I just got to have one line down there. I don't know where it goes. I just got to figure that out. Otherwise, plug wires are all dialed in, brackets are all painted, everything's on, looks good. I did put the condenser back in it and the transmission cooler. I just got one of these universal transmission coolers, and then ran that right there. The lines come out underneath, and I just cut the old hard lines off and tied into it. And then I just put some rubber underneath the frame there and there just to protect them. It's all tied off nicely, and then some of the wiring harness here, the original plastic clips all busted off, so I just put some of these metal clamps on here in different areas just to make it clean as I can get it anyway. Got the throttle hooked up there, so that works, goes full throttle, no issues. And then the kick down I ordered. Holly sells a conversion kit for these to basically extend this bracket out a little bit, and then some other wizardry that connects to here, so for the kick down. So I got that coming. I should get that today actually, so I'll get that hooked up. Basically ready to put the belts on. And then what else? For the most part, just a lot of odds and ends. A lot of this stuff, I don't know if some of you Ford guys know, I don't. It's got a whole bunch of these different plugs all over the place that aren't being used. Like there's one back here. There's just kind of random plugs all over the place. I zip tied some of them up right there. I take it that maybe they just had the same harness for all the cars, and then if you didn't use it, they just, you know, left them hang. I don't know. So kind of curious on that. They don't go to anything that I see that's obvious, so I'm assuming it's just stuff for different cars. But so now I'm just down to getting the radiator in it. I'm gonna get that done and get that hooked up. I can put the belts on it. The fan, I'm trying to figure out. These things came with a flex fan. I'm just worried it's gonna just be super noisy and rob a bunch of power. I don't know. I was gonna try to convert it to a clutch and put a clutch on it instead. I might do that. We'll see. Other than that, everything's hooked up. I got to just do the charge wire for the alternator. He had this this is one of a later model Ford 3G alternator that's been converted to a one wire. So this thing's got a massive charge wire on it. So I might change this just so it's not so big. And I can kind of run it down here a little bit more, tuck it in a little tighter. Anyway, everything's looking really good, going back together really nice. I'm pretty happy right now, so I'm gonna get this radiator figured out and just start figuring out the rest of these odds and ends. All right, quick update on the Cougar. Been running around. I feel like I've been running around all day just getting parts. I got the wrong parts. I had to go back and forth, yada yada. You know how that stuff is. Now let me show you what I got. All right, I got the radiator in it. I got all the wiring and everything basically done. Got the charge wire redone in the alternator, so that's all set. Got the heater hoses in it. That's done. Went down, got some belts. Got the wrong belt. Had to go back. My fault for not checking them while I was there because I had the old ones. Just one of them wasn't right. So I got the fuel lines in. Fuel line in, filter run. I just got to hook up the main line. So I ended up pulling the sending unit out because I could not get fuel flow, or I tried to blow some air through it and I couldn't get any air to go through it. So this elbow is completely, I've got it full of brake parts cleaner right now trying to soak it, but this thing was completely clogged. It was all goo. So yeah, there you go. You can kind of see it out, just spilled out there. So just nasty. So nice thing about this thing is I don't have to drop the tank to do it. So the sending unit's right there on the bottom of the tank, so that makes it super nice to get to. But unfortunately that O-ring, it's probably not gonna seal now. So I'm just gonna put it back together and hope that it does for now. At least if I can run it a little bit, I'll be happy with that. So, and then I gotta just get rid of this, dispose of this old gas. I blew the main fuel line all the way out, all the way up to the front. It's nice and clear now. Tank looks okay inside. I can feel a little bit of gumminess if I put my finger in there at the bottom, but I think it'll be okay. I'm gonna double up on the fuel filters. So I'm gonna put one between the line and the fuel pump, and then I've got the one up here between the carburetor and the pump too, so I'll just double them up for now. I don't think I'll have a whole lot of problems with the tank. So, and then my radiator, learned from my mistake. I'm praying I didn't punch a hole in this damn thing. You can see right down here, I had my impact sitting up here on this AC bracket, and I had the car jacked up on this corner to lean it so I could get all the gas out of the tank, and I was shaking the car and the thing fell off and hit the radiator. So frustrating. It doesn't look like I punched a hole in it, but I don't know. I'll find out. I'm going to put some more water in it. I filled the block up before I put the heater hoses on, so the block's got water in it. It's ready to go. So yeah, getting close. I'm going to fire this thing up here pretty quick. Hopefully. I'm going to put the tank back together again, put the sending unit on, get it clean, and then hopefully that O-ring will hold. So there's an update. So I'll bring you back later, let you know where I'm at. Runs good. Sounds pretty good. I gotta dial that carb in a little bit, but I got good fresh gas in it now. Got the tank all cleaned out, and radiator's all hooked up. Of course, fan shrouds in it, belts, hoses, everything's done. So, sounds good. It's pretty crisp. I think I'm gonna have to play with the carburetor a little bit. I should probably take it off and go through it and really clean it up, clean all the air bleeds. And like I said, I bought that thing at local automotive park and swap deal. I didn't do anything to it. I just threw it on. So it seems to work pretty good though. So maybe I got lucky. I had to adjust the floats a little bit. They were a little too high. So other than that, I am thrilled. It runs good. Sounds really good. Motor sounds good. It's got good oil pressure. So I don't know how accurate these gauges are, temperature and oil wise. When it was cold, it was over 45 and then it backed off. And water seems to be flowing good through the radiator. So good deal. I let it idle. I've been sitting here running it for quite a while too, and it doesn't feel hot at all. I mean, I can hold my hand on the valve cover for a few seconds anyway, so it's good. So sweet. I am thrilled. So now I still got a few little things to do. I got to find a coolant overflow reservoir for it. And then now I got to figure out the vacuum lines, go through that. I'd like to run the stock air cleaner on it, so I'm going to try to run that and figure all that out too, and the plumbing and whatnot for it. I want to change that PCV valve to a 90 degree. That thing's just ugly. It goes way up, and so. But for now, I am thrilled. I'm going to top off all the fluids, and then tomorrow I will probably get this thing up in the air and hopefully figure out that exhaust. Cool. Thanks for watching.